Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for the week of April 24th. We're just going to jump right in here, Aquarius, and see what's going on for you. You have the Science card. It says, keep an open mind. There's something unfolding for you right now. It's funny, you know, this card says chemist is like the first word, and then you have the Temperance card, which is like mixing two things together. So, you know, I would say that those two cards are kind of matching up in my head here. You could be trying to, you know, mix some things together, or you could be trying to improve your situation is really what I'm getting here. And this could be any situation, you know, money, health, you know, business, whatever it is that you're working on. And, you know, I feel like, number one, that you're getting there. It's like things are going to start improving for you, and things are going to start getting better. You have the Eight of Wands right next to it, which is like quick success. You do have this Nine of Swords here. Again, things are not going to be perfect, of course. You know, life is never perfect, and we have Mercury retrograde, of course. And, you know, so I feel for some of you, there could be just some retrograde energy things that you're dealing with. I also feel like, you know, I feel like you need to be kind to yourself here, Aquarius, just going this direction. It's like there might be something that you wish you could go back on, something that you wish you could change is kind of what I'm getting here. Because like Nine of Swords is like a round situation. Two of Pentacles is like a decision that you made or a choice that you made. So some of you could be hoping that you could have made, you know, could make a different choice or get a second chance. Like some of you, okay, hold on one second. I don't know what's going on there. There we go. So back at it again. I think some of you could be looking at something that you wish could have gone a different way is what I would say here, and it could be anything. You do have love here, but I don't even think that it has to do with love. Like a lot of these cards here have to do with like manifestation, your wealth. You have this wealthy woman card, which it doesn't matter what gender you are. You know, again, in these general readings, I don't attach gender to my card, so, you know, it could be whatever you are, and you could be thinking about your wealth or creating more financial balance in your life with the Justice card. And so I feel like you're trying to, you know, again, that's what you're trying to improve upon. You have the Ten of Wands here. I do feel like you have a lot going on. You know, I feel like you feel like things are, you know, taking longer than they should with this Ten of Wands, and it's like you're just trying to make some progress is what I'm seeing here. I say that because you end here with the Page of Wands, and for whatever reason, the only thing that I can focus on with that Page of Wands is progress. Like you're hoping that, you know, if you're working on your business, that you make a little bit of extra money. You're hoping that if you're hoping that you can catch up on your bills, or, you know, whatever the case may be with that Page of Wands energy. I love that you end with the Four of Wands and the Page of Wands. You know, I'm not even talking about love here. I'm just talking about if you are hoping for progress, that Four of Wands can be a card of completion and, you know, bringing something to an end. So it looks to me like you could be bringing these difficult, if you are going through difficult times, or even if it doesn't even have to just be difficult. I'm getting for some of you just annoying. It's like, you know, sometimes I think you can be making plenty of money, but, you know, even when you're making plenty of money, it can still be hard to get ahead. So it's like, you know, just that like annoyance, you know, and didn't I say this to you recently? I'm pretty sure I did. It's like the same thing with the Temperance card, temperance. There you go. Like, you know, the universe basically saying I meant what I said. With the Justice card, you have the High Priestess. I would say that any lessons that you've been learning over the past like several years, they've probably been intuitive lessons. And what I mean by that is, like, maybe you knew intuitively that you should have done something in your life and you didn't. Or maybe you intuitively knew the right decision. So it's kind of like saying to me that maybe the lessons you've learned have taught you how to trust your intuition, or that you need to trust your intuition. And, you know, again, I feel like the Justice card is saying kind of like balance out more of that intuitive side. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Two of Pentacles. Work hard, play hard. Again, if you're working hard and not seeing results, Two of Pentacles would say that you need more play, and you might be thinking to yourself, Chris, what the hell are you talking about? I need to work so I can make money. And trust me, I was stuck there for like 4 years almost, where I was just like working, trying to force things to work, and I wasn't allowing myself to go have fun. I wasn't allowing myself to go out, to do things that I enjoyed or anything. And you know what? You know what happened? Things got slower and slower and slower and slower and worse and worse and worse, right? It literally wasn't until I started walking. That's like the first thing I started doing was getting out of the freaking house, right? And going for a walk. It wasn't until that time that my life started to improve. And then I started going out with friends and my life started to improve, and, you know, on and on. So again, we can't just work. We can't just try to force things to happen. You know, we have to kind of, we have to have fun so that the creative energy can be created so we can have fun and so that we can enjoy life. Going this way, again, I am wondering if like you feel like you made the wrong decision in some area of your life. Again, I kind of feel like there's no point in like dwelling on it is what this is saying. Or maybe you feel like you made a mistake. For some of you, it's like a financial mistake. Like maybe you feel like you lost money or you made a bad decision with your money or whatever. And again, I think that this reading is encouraging you to change your focus on like what, in a different direction. You have this wealthy woman card. This is showing up in what you need to know right now. And it says wealth, beauty, youthful, fun, charm, creativity, luxury, vanity, good life, high standards of living. I feel like you do have, kind of like big dreams that probably include that word, high standards of living, is really what jumps out to me the most on this card, is that you do have certain standards of living that you wish to achieve, like the finer things in life. And maybe, again, I'm not saying your goals, wish, or dreams are ridiculous. I think they should be. I keep telling people, like, now is the time to have ridiculous goals, wishes, and dreams that seem impossible. Are you going to accomplish all of them? Hell no. But even if you get a small percentage of your ridiculous goals, wishes, and dreams, it's better than probably what you originally set out to achieve. So I would say shoot for the stars at this time, and I feel like you'll accomplish a lot. I feel like you need to focus on kind of like the standard that you want to achieve, and say like what, I say this to everyone because I think now is an amazing time to reinvent yourself with Pluto and Aquarius. And I would say like, what things can you change about yourself for free, doesn't have to cost money, so that you can energetically match up with that level, like whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. You have the Eight of Wands, a great card of manifestation. We'll talk about that in a minute. Nine of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. Eight of Wands could be communication. Again, if you do want love, there could be communication here with a person. Could be a Sagittarius, could be any sign, general reading, but it could be leading to love or marriage, so that's nice if you want love. The Eight of Wands also, Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks calls this, would call this like your rockets of desire. The Eight of Wands, basically we're telling the universe what we want. The universe responds with like inspiration, signs, symbols, like all that other stuff. So I would pay attention to any like signs, symbols, inspirations, inner guidance. That Justice card, for whatever reason, I'm really seeing that as you needing to balance out the magical side, the High Priestess side, the side that's willing to follow, seeing 222 on the clock, for example, or something like that. It's like maybe you've been a little bit too logical, and trust me, like I'm a big fan of being logical, right? I love it, tarot and astrology and all that other stuff, but I have a very real side to myself where I take things very logically, and I don't need like signs and symbols and things like that. So I think we need both, and I feel just balancing that side out will be good for you. You have the Nine of Swords. I feel like you got to get out of your head on something here, some sort of mistake that you've made. It's like sometimes I have that story popping into my head where it's like, I'm sure you've all done it. I've done it, right? Where you like purchase something where you don't really have the money for it. Like buyer's remorse is like the word that I'm getting that's popping into my head here. Or that's like more the feeling that I'm getting is like buyer's remorse. Maybe you committed to something financially. It could be in love for a small percentage of you, but for whatever reason, I feel like it has to do with finances. It could be love for finances, but whatever. It doesn't matter, Aquarius. I feel like there's like a little bit of buyer's remorse going on here. I feel this card, for whatever reason, is saying that like you need to happen to the situation. I always say right here, there's a carving on the bed, and there's like a person that's on their back freaking out. There's like another person with a sword standing over them, and he's about to hit that other person with the sword on that carving in the bed. And basically, this card to me says you can be the bug or the windshield. You can choose to stay in misery, sadness, all that other stuff, or you can happen to the situation and you can take back your control and make something happen. Really, I don't think there's anything that you do need to do, because you go Two of Cups, Two of Pentacles. It looks to me like you're changing the situation. You have the Seven of Pentacles, which is a change in direction as well. So it looks to me like you could be ending some sort of nightmare or something that you feel is a nightmare in your life, or, it could be very simple as well. It's like if you purchase something that you couldn't really afford and you're regretting it, you could be returning it, for example. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it could be removing that little bit of stress from your life. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Hangman here. Yeah, it's like there's no back, there's too much like not moving. There's no movement here is what I'm trying to say, Aquarius. It's like too much hemming and hawing, too much thinking, right? And I feel like the universe is encouraging you to move, just like in a direction. You know, I feel like the universe is saying like everything you want, it exists already, and you just need to like get working towards it. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Four of Pentacles. Stuck energy. Four of Pentacles is holding on too tightly to something maybe that you need to let go of. It's something that is like a comfort blanket. You know, he has a comfort blanket right here. That blanket represents a comfort blanket, but it's like maybe he's too comfortable where he is, even though the situation is not changing. It's keeping him stuck. So I feel like you have a chance to really, you know, I always say this to you because Pluto and Aquarius. It's like the big, you know, this doesn't happen for everyone. Most people die before Pluto enters into their sign. So you have a really good opportunity to reinvent yourself, to make yourself the person that you want to be, even if you feel like you made mistakes. Like now is your chance to change your story. Everybody has this chance, but you have the best chance to change your story, especially your financial story as well. Saturn in your second house. I mean, are you kidding? You know, even Jupiter, even though it's not in your second house, it's, you know, going from your third to your fourth, it's going to retrograde back to your third. I mean, it's in that same, you know, pie of the sky, that same cutout, that same quarter, right? So, you know, it's a really good time for you. You have like a lot of expansive energy for, you know, we consider that first quarter there, first house to the fourth house, you know, what you put out into the world, like you know, it's your first house, basically. But you could cut that whole quarter and say that everything in that first part of the astrology has to do with you. And there's a ton of energy there right now. So I would get working Chiron, Aries, right? It's like I would be working on healing yourself, you know, changing your story, all this other stuff, because again, you will be more powerful than ever if you do this. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Hierophant. A lot of lessons. A lot of people have been getting the Hierophant this week for whatever reason. I do feel that I mean, it is a time of karma. We have the eclipse on the 20th or the 21st, depending on where you are, but 21st really. And, you know, that eclipse, you might be watching this before the eclipse, by the way, but if you're watching it after the eclipse, doesn't matter. It's still a time of karma, and it's still a time where I feel a lot of people could be just looking at some lessons that they've learned and looking at how we can kind of like implement those lessons into our life, right? Next, you have this card that says Repel on it. This is a really cool card. This is from the Threads of Fate deck, the Empyrean Oracle, by the way, and they are like holographic. They are animated like this, and again, this camera doesn't even do them justice. Again, full disclosure, I have a business relationship with Threads of Fate, but they are launching 3 new decks. Link is down in the description. Not sponsored, but again, I do have a relationship with them, so you know, just know that. Feel like full disclosure, right? And what I would say here is, again, if you're interested in their new decks, which I will be showing off soon, look out for that. Then check that out down below. It's like the pre-launch for their Kickstarter. But sales pitch over. This right here says Repel on it. I feel that, and this is showing up in the unexpected, by the way. I feel like you are rejecting things. Like your body could even be rejecting things as well. I remember years ago, we're talking like, you know, 4 apartments ago, I break up my my timeline into the apartments that I've lived in, right? And so like, I don't know, like over 5 years ago, I think now, or something like that. I remember I was like talking, I had this person in my life as a friend, not, you know, sexually or anything like that, you know, as a friend. But I kept, I had just started going live on YouTube, and I kept feeling like sick, like for no freaking reason. And I was like, why do I feel sick? And I didn't realize it was this person in my life that was making me sick because they were very toxic, right? And so that's popping into my head. I haven't told that story in a very long time, but it's like that person was toxic, and you know, it's like I was literally having like physical symptoms. I kind of feel like some of you could be having physical symptoms with this Repel card, and I feel like you need to pay very close attention to that. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I have no clue what I'm talking about, but what I would say is, again, if you're having symptoms, or they might not be that dramatic. Again, I just had like this weird like lump in my throat. I kid you not, when I got rid of this person, when I realized it, never happened again. No joke. So, you know, I would pay attention to, I don't think this is just people, by the way. This could be basically anything in your life that you are rejecting. You have the Two of Cups, Four of Swords, Two of Pentacles. With the Two of Pentacles, with the Page of Wands here, you could be rejecting the place that you live as well. So you might be wanting to move, you might be wanting to travel, you might be catching a little bit of a travel bug just in general. You know, you could be like wanting to move around, you could be feeling antsy and stuff like that. So I would, number one, channel that energy. I would say that if you're feeling antsy just in general, like if you feel like if you have that feeling where your brain is telling you that you should be doing something, but you don't know what to do, I always tell people, like, channel that restless energy, do a puzzle, get a coloring book, you got to do something creative. Because again, when we have that energy, I think that those creative things like coloring, as ridiculous as it sounds, it allows us to focus on something else, and then the energy can flow properly. And that's kind of popping into my head here with the Two of Pentacles. You might be having those moments where you're just like restless, kind of like pacing, walking around, whatever it is you're doing. It's funny because you have Strength card here, and Leo is your opposite sign, Aquarius, and I always get this message for Leo. So, it is funny that it's popping up in your reading. But again, I would channel it. If you have like a hobby that you enjoy doing, like that is creative, doesn't even have to be creative. It could be going for a hike in the woods. Whatever it is, I would do it with that Two of Pentacles. You have the Four of Swords here. I do feel like you are healing clearly from the Nine of Swords, some sort of never-ending nightmare. I do feel like a lot of you are kind of, again, seeing the things that you reject, or, that card, it says repel on it, but I kind of have the word reject popping into my head, and it could be, literally could be anything. It could be, relationship wise, business wise, work wise, could be anything. And I feel like the universe is trying to get you to kind of like course correct here. I'm kind of surprised the moon hasn't shown up in your reading. The moon has those two pillars. It is popping into my head right now, but it has those two pillars. And again, we see two pillars in your reading. Two pillars on the Justice card. There would normally be two pillars on the High Priestess. You basically have two pillars right here on the Four of Wands. You cannot make this up. Bottom of your clarification deck. I just said, I'm surprised. There it is. So there's the moon. But, it's like I get that feeling of course correction. There are those two pillars on the moon, and those two pillars on the moon tell the Fool, do not get off your path. Keep working towards whatever you're working towards. And, I kind of feel like there could be some rejection where it's like you start like working towards something. Maybe you think you want to go another direction. You start feeling off. I feel like that's literally your higher self. Two of Cups to me is you and your higher self communicating, and it could be your higher self being like, no, you need to stay the course. You need to keep moving in this direction. Again, I feel a lot of your lessons have been about like trusting your intuition, like I said at the beginning of the reading, or maybe there were things that you knew that you didn't do. And again, don't beat yourself up over this. It's just like, we have to make those mistakes so then we know what to listen to in the first place. But it's like, now you know. So I kind of feel like this reading is saying that there could be some course correction going on here, but it's just putting you on your path. It's just making you more successful is what I see. With the Two of Cups, you have the Ace of Cups. Could be true love coming in for you if you want it. Again, I feel like you've been very patient for love. Could be, you have a lot of stuff here. You have Pisces, Sagittarius, Taurus, Leo, fire in general. I mean, it could be any sign coming in for you, but it could lead to marriage regardless of what it is. With the Four of Swords, you have the Nine of Cups. Yes, this is what I would be focusing on. And this is the story that I would be telling myself as well. Again, over the past like 3 years or so, I've been really focused on like paying attention to the story that I tell myself. I tell people all the time that I constantly talk to myself. Like when I'm driving, I live in a small town, and I'm sure, like I always say, people probably think I'm nuts here because I'm just like gassing myself up the whole entire time that I'm driving, talking about like my future life, things that I want, all that other stuff, right? But I don't care, right? I'll be laughing all the way to the bank, and you should be too. So, I would say talk to yourself, tell the story you want. Nine of Cups to me is a card of bathing in the energy of what you want. Normally the guy in the Nine of Cups is chubby for a reason. It represents the fact that he's had a harvest. That he's had a feast before, and he's about to have a feast again. That's the story of the Nine of Cups. So it kind of represents needing to be in the energy of something that you want before you can have it. So, for a lot of you, I would say start bathing in the energy, start changing your story, about the things that you want. Again, I think that it's too easy to focus on the negative, and we need to start focusing on the positive. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Wands here. Yeah, there is an element of don't give up to this reading, right? I kind of said that a couple times. I feel like that Two of Cups is really, could be love, but again, I always say Two of Cups is like you and your higher self, and I feel like your higher self is kind of leading you in a direction. I also feel like it's saying there's something you want to accomplish in your life. Might seem a little bit impossible, but I would kind of, keep pushing here. Finally, what are we doing? Messages from your future self. You have this withdraw card and this manifest card. Some of you, I feel like maybe withdrawing from things actually would be a good idea. in your life in general, like withdrawing from the things that hold you back, or the things that repel you, right? I also feel like if you can't get something to work, is what's popping into my head, right? Maybe you just need some alone time. Like, sometimes I think we just go from relationship to relationship to relationship, for example, and I feel like this is saying if you can't get relationships to work, maybe just like a little bit of a break would be a good idea, in just like learning how to be alone, right? Learning who you really are. It's like, I think the problem with jumping from thing to thing to thing, relationship to relationship, is that it's like it doesn't give you time to figure out who you really are. So you're always like changing yourself for a new person, and you're always becoming a different person. So you're never entering into a situation as the person that you actually are. So no one can figure out who you actually are. Again, not a criticism, but I would figure out who you are if you're having a hard time in relationships. Then you can find the right person, right? For others, definitely a time of heightened manifestation going on here. You have the Four Wands, the Strength card, and the Page of Wands. It's like the universe sees your patience is what I'm getting here. I don't even think this is talking about like needing to be patient. I feel like the universe sees how patient you have been, and there could be some rewards, like some celebrations coming in for you. With this Four Wands, I feel like there could be a lot of success coming in for you with this card as well. So I really like this. I also feel like there could be a commitment coming in for those of you that do want love. You have the Page of Wands, could be a fire sign or a new fire sign, could be any sign. But, I also feel this is kind of like you going on an adventure. This adventure could be taking place in your mind as well, because we go 8 of Wands down to this Page of Wands in this diagonal with that 9 of Cups. 4 of Swords as well. It's like very dreamy energy. He might be meditating, praying. He might be dreaming. He might be manifesting. So I feel all that would be a really good idea for you. This is a very deep reading here, Aquarius, I will say. With the 4 of Wands, you have the Page of Swords here. Page of Swords is a card of being a detective. So again, if you don't know what you like in relationships, for example, maybe now would be a good time to be single and to figure it out, right? To figure out what you actually want to commit to. If you don't know what you want to do to make money, maybe now would be a good time to figure it out. I always say Mercury retrograde is an amazing time for experimentation. It's like, yeah, maybe the things we start during Mercury retrograde don't last. But I always say we learn like 20 times faster during Mercury retrograde if we explore things. So, it might be a good time to explore some ideas, to learn about things, to educate yourself. With the Strength card, you have the 7 of Pentacles. Oh, yeah, you do have the 7 of Pentacles twice. There's clearly some sort of change in direction going on in your life. This is my card that says, is the juice worth the squeeze? Like, is it worth it for you to keep working on the things that you're working on? And again, I feel like there are certain things, I kind of feel like it's very straightforward. It's like there are certain things that are going to repel you this week with that repel card. And not only this week, I kind of feel like for the next few months. It's like things are going to either push you away or suck you in, right? And I feel like you need to pay attention to that. With the Page of Wands, you have the Strength card. Could be a Leo coming in for some of you. But again, I feel like you're kind of being rewarded for your patience as well. Let's see what is going on here. Sure, we'll take that card. Why not? You have the Sunrise card. It says new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. I would call this whole entire reading a fresh start, basically. So I feel like some of you, it's a fresh start. Some of you could be leaving a nightmare behind as well with that 9 of Swords and, just stepping into a much better energy. Next, you have this light card. It says stepping into a new experience. There you go. So clearly something, a lot of new experiences and a lot of new things coming in for you. You have this Broken Bridge card. It says unsuccessful outcome to a problem. I feel like this is saying, like, stop trying to fix things that you can't fix. And, I'm a fixer. I totally get it. Aquarius, it's like I totally understand, like, wanting to fix things and improve things. But I kind of feel like this is saying in love and business and work, it's like the perfect ideal situation already exists for you, but maybe you're spending too much time trying to fix things that are broken. And that'll never be fixed. So I feel like this is about being honest about those situations. And again, for example, if you're in a relationship and the person's willing to fix it, put in the work, then by all means, fix the situation. But I think too many of us, we end up in these situations where the person isn't willing to do work, isn't willing to make it easy on us, and we have to leave those situations. That's what this is saying. So I always tell people, like, I don't think we should be taking tarot literally, right? I think we should be, because some people see that and say, I'm leaving my boyfriend because there are things I don't like that I have never told him, and he hasn't fixed them. It's like, obviously, if you haven't opened your mouth, open your mouth, right? And say something. And then if they're not willing to put in the work, leave. If they are, then great. Then you know you found yourself a good one, by the way, if they're willing to put in the work, because they're willing to put in the work. Most people don't nowadays. You have this Vine card. It says, seek out the information that will help you. You have this August card as well. I always clarify these monthly cards in this deck. So, by the month of August, I kind of feel really, I don't think this is like talking about information. I feel like you're untangling things in your life by that time, but it's not, it's like from now till then. So I think things are improving. To me, this is suggesting improvements. You have the Spirit, says heartache over what you no longer have. Yeah, I feel like this is what you have to leave behind with that Nine of Swords. Like, thinking too much about things that you no longer have or mistakes that you've made. Sometimes I think we grieve the loss of things that really just, I don't want to say they don't matter, but it's like we grieve the loss of something. It's like we focus so much on this that we're missing out on something much more abundant over here, right? And so I feel like this is saying there are like way more abundant situations for you, but you have to kind of move your energy in that direction. Very interesting reading, Aquarius. That's why, it's almost 30 minutes long because, again, there's a lot going on here for sure. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week. Again, the link to the Threads of Fate launch is down below, so make sure to check that out.